Thank you. Evening, Town of Dayton. Welcome to the Town of Dayton Planning Board regular meeting this evening, Wednesday, October 18th, 2023.
Recording in progress.
That's okay. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. By way of reminder, this is a public meeting being video and audio recorded for cable broadcast. Confirm the next meeting is going to be held here on Wednesday, November 1st, 2023, 7 p.m. And first order of business is agenda item 4A, which is the public hearing for special permit application, site plan review for Grasshopper Energy Corporation, 0 Brook Street, map 16, lot 8, major modification. So we want to make a motion to continue.
Make a motion to open.
Open?
So moved.
To continue tonight, or opening the hearing again.
Reopening. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excellent.
I'm sorry, who first and second? First?
Me and Joe.
Thank you.
So, okay. So you have to reread the public notice?
No,
We do not. Okay. Let's say.
no, you could just start your,
Okay. So since the last meeting, we went out and visited, did a site visit. The entire team was able to get out there and walk through the whole property. Thank you, the applicants, for making it happen. Thank you, Ahmed. Went through and got a good look of the whole project from the entire perimeter and throughout. So it was a really good site visit. Wound up being a beautiful day, so we were able to see quite a bit. It's an incoming call. All right, so let me just open up that email, because I know there's been some exchange back and forth, so I want to make sure I've got the latest here. And I know that there was some feedback. Okay, so we did have some outstanding questions, and as far as I can tell, let me just go through this real quick. So the list, which I'm just going to read just so we have it here, was from an email from Carrie Easterday to Ahmed Hafez and Asa Smith on September 25th. First request was additional photos of shading, conditions with orientation details in the photos, details on the missing gate. That's number 2. Number 3 was the forest enhancement plans with a timeline and anticipated species. Number 4 was overall project baseline, project timeline for completion for the entire project, because knowing that you have things that are outside of your control, but trying to get a good understanding of where we are and how much longer we think before this whole thing will be completed. And then one item I added there, which was a concern from the stormwater representation last time, is acknowledgement that the applicant understands that they need to provide a 24-hour notice to the town prior to conducting any work on the basins. This was per the Stormwater Committee guidance. And we did receive a response from Ahmed a couple days later on the 27th, where he provided additional photos of the shading from the drone footage. We did see some shading while we were out there, but because it's later in the season, the shading was more to the south. Sun progresses south as we get closer to winter. So we didn't see the full shading that we saw in the photos, but we did get the additional photos sent to us. Mentioned here on the email about installing a wooden decorative gate to replace the guardrail that's in place at the moment. We actually did receive the photo of that, which is in your package. So you can see at the entrance, there's a wooden fence, and those 2 telephone pole sections that you mentioned are along there. You saw that right in the package?
Saw that.
Okay, looks really nice. Question 3, about the forest enhancement, and the additional detail was provided by Ahmed, and that was provided today. And he noted that in the approved plans on sheet C4-4.0, that the intent is to plant 30 witch hazel 2 to 3 feet, 16 white pines, 4 to 5 feet, 16 red maples, 4 to 5 feet, and 50 common service berries, also 4 to 6 feet. And he said we also replaced the dead green giants that were planted as part of the visual screening plan, or the ones that were not planted due to the work performed on the basin. Installation of 27 green giants on the north and east berms of the infiltration basin at the northeast corner of the field as described on the amendment attached to print C4.0, which is what Kerry sent out to the group earlier today. A large portion of the work on the east side is blocked off by the wetland area that does not have machine access and will need to be done primarily by hand labor. And we have been in talks with our abutter to the east, and all planting will be done in consultation with them to ensure that the trees will provide an improvement to the current visual screening conditions. The work is expected to take 1 week and will start as soon as tree cutting, if approved by the planning board, is completed. Attached is also a gate that was installed. So when we did the walkthrough, I'm sorry, your name again, sir?
Jason LaChance.
Jason LaChance, thank you, was there, and we also had Tom Ferry, tree warden, and also highway superintendent, and I think 5 other hats, right? He went through with us, and we were able to see the trees that were marked out on the east side, on the south side, and the west side of the property, and got a good understanding of what not only this enhancement would do, but also what the cutting down of those trees and replacement with new trees would do to the visual screening. And it was pretty much the opinion of everybody present that it would be an improvement. Because you're replacing effectively telephone poles that are just sticks with some growth, which would promote additional undergrowth. So that was what we saw during the walkthrough. Let me see if I hit everything on this question list. Oh, and then in the previous email, Ahmed did provide acknowledgement that they would provide a 24-hour notice. So that was also provided in the previous email. So that being said, that was the big takeaways I got from the walkthrough. I was very satisfied with it. And I don't know if anybody else on the board has any other comments or questions or.
Start on that side, come to my side.
Sure.
No, you always start on this side, start on that side.
Should we take it to a vote?
Okay. Well, my vision of that was, I have a lot of experience with pines on situations that I've had in the past. When a pine tree stands alone and it's top heavy, any kind of wind can tumble that thing over and create damage to other trees. And I've had that experience. I built right around in Carver, which is all pines everywhere. And I had some homeowners that decided that they didn't want to cut the trees because they wanted to keep a tree in the front of their house and so on and so on. And we did that. And what happened was the tree fell. The first windstorm that came along, and some fell on their house, some fell on the sides, and some just took the wires down and stuff. And then, of course, I get a call, must jinx me because you wanted to cut that down, and I didn't. So the point is, I think it'll be a much better situation if those pines and some of those trees come down and they plant something that's going to be lower. I think in the long run, everybody's going to be much better off. That's my view, using whatever common sense I have. So, and experience from being in the building business for approximately 35 to 40 years.
That was a shared opinion by Tom Ferry as well, because when we were walking
Okay.
along, and specifically on the east side where you're looking at a house, right? And we're going along, and you can do this, and you're like, okay, that tree that's gonna be replaced. We're talking about what it would look like, and it would be a much better solution to have something lower, and then have the undergrowth thicken up as a result of the large canopy being removed.
As a
So I
matter
think
of
it's
fact,
beneficial.
in the very beginning of the cutting area, the driveway is very close to that property. If some of those pines go down, they will take because most likely they're gonna go down towards the house. They will take those trees down with it, and then there will be a big area that's gonna be open there from the house next door. So that's my view. I'm sure not everybody is going to agree with me, but that's my view on that part, so.
All right, thanks, Joe. Dan?
No, just reiterate what both you and Joe said, and the planning did seem very strategic, obviously. Not both for the trees that want to come down for the purpose of the shading, but also strategic for maximizing the vegetative area from the nearby houses. So I didn't really have any issues with that.
Okay. Woody?
The first thing I'd like to say is, that house on the left, the maroon house, I don't even know who lives there. They've never showed up to one meeting, ever. I don't know who these people are. I don't think they care if there's trees or there are no trees.
Well,
We've never heard from those people, right? Mother Nature is gonna take down trees wherever and whenever she wants. We can't control that. We don't know if that tree's gonna fall down today, tomorrow, or 10 years from now. It's not our problem. But my last name is Woods. I'm an outdoorsman, and I will never vote to cut down any trees, anywhere. That's all I got.
So Carrie, did we go to the applicant first and then public input? Okay, so I don't know if you gentlemen want to add anything or anything further? You're on mute.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Ahmed. I'm with Grasshopper. Thank you again for taking the time to come on Saturday to see the site. I think it was very helpful for everyone. I think we've provided all the answers that were asked by the planning board, and I'm ready to answer any other questions. I don't really have any other comments, and thank you again for your time on Saturday.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you being here, but I didn't know if you wanted to say anything. Okay.
Yeah, I actually have the purchase order for all the forest enhancement. I don't know if it was something you guys wanted to see, to know that it was happening.
Well, that'd likely be a question by the abutters at some point here, so,
Just to know that it's on its way,
okay.
ready when.
Right, ready when we're ready to go, got it. Okay, public input?
Florian Bosley, 1680 Pine Street.
Alan Beausoleil, 1680 Pine.
You know exactly what to do, you've done this a few times.
Exactly. So if they're supposedly cutting down the trees, how are they supposed to be getting to them?
The way it was explained to us is that in between the panels on the east side, they should be able to access it with a crane. I mean, feel free to comment, you want to jump in
Coming
here?
around the backside. Coming around the backside of the panels, coming down with the fence on the east side. There'll be some sections of the fence that get opened up for the outriggers of the crane to come out, not going past any of the barriers set for any erosion control. One leg in between the panels, one leg to the edge of the erosion control. It will reach up, bring it in the row. As I said, the fence will be removed. The equipment will come down the back row, process, and come around.
Are they chipping them on
The
site?
chips will be in the truck, and it's not gonna be the same land clearing chipper with the same decibels that was out there clearing the woods. It's more of a residential sized chipper, it's not as loud. Logs will be
The trunks,
hauled
I guess the one thing I want to hit on is, what I didn't realize is, the trunks are being removed.
Yeah,
The chipper is being used for the small stuff. They're not going to chip the trees down to
You're not
piles
chipping
of
trees.
chips.
no, logs are getting hauled off.
Logs are getting hauled off.
So
the
how
difference.
big are the stumps?
1 foot, there's a spec for it. I
Yeah, it's
don't
about
wanna
1 foot.
speak out of
No
turn.
more than a foot
No more than a foot,
above
yeah.
above the ground.
So the work zone is gonna be in that same area, you said?
On the east side and the west side
On
and
the east
south.
side, nothing to the north side, nothing to the northeast side?
Nope.
There
No.
are 3 trees that need to come from the right side. One of them is an additional, one is on the old print. It's right at the corner of the fence near the fire road.
That's in the back.
Yeah, that's in the west side.
Yeah. All the-
Other
all
than
the-
that, your forest enhancement can go in as soon as the plants hit the floor.
Well, you mentioned forest enhancement. Is that also including the trees they've already planted and they took some out and they're getting some in?
So, I can send you the.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yep.
It's also,
Yeah.
so it's forest enhancement and that?
I have the green giants to replace all of the predation on the hemlocks. Not all, I won't say all, the ones that are dead
Yeah,
and the ones that are missing. I have, to make 69 trees, to make that print,
yeah,
I have those trees coming in,
okay.
as well to fix the burn trees on both sides and the forest enhancement, which includes the white pine, serviceberry, and all those trees that are at your disposal to say, we want them here, here, and here. Half goes to your side, half goes to the other side.
And you said the ones on the basin, on the berm?
There's some on the berm going in.
Okay, on our side, north side?
Yep, north and east.
Yep, okay.
So there's a total of, let me pull it up.
37, I think, Jason. It's in the email that I sent today to the planning board.
Right, yep.
42 green giants.
Okay, you ordered.
So,
Yep, 30. What was the last?
And these are the these are the tall ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
the
Yep.
green giants are
And these
big.
are specs on the printer.
May I ask what size they are?
These were 6/7.
6/7, okay.
So
That's
the
fair.
gauge on the print was per spec diameter of the trunk, which is measured up to this high, which equals a 6/7.
Okay.
And those do grow
Fast.
very fast.
First 2
We'll
years,
see, I planted 30 of them.
There you go. I can tell you that in 4 or 5 years,
I planted them in May.
4 or 5 years, my daughter and my son-in-law did that at their house. They're up 12 feet tall. And that was no more than 4 or 5 years ago.
God willing, I live that long.
The thing that's really concerning me, and I know I mentioned it last time, but I really don't feel as if I got the proper answer, was the buffer. They're asking for a 30-foot buffer around the entire facility. I know you said it was from the property line over towards the field, from the abutters line over to the field.
Right.
We have more than that. So does that take away what we fought so hard to get extra?
I don't
lose 20
Do
feet
we
of it.
lose,
Do we lose
like-
20 feet of it?
no.
or do they have the right at some time to come back and say, hey, that tree's bothering me, you know what, it's past the thing? I don't think we should be putting us backwards into
I don't understand how that
30
puts you,
foot.
I don't know how that
the
puts
north
you.
side doesn't ever shade. Shade doesn't, shading,
Right.
you being
No.
worried about shade coming from your side, or trees coming from your side. The only objective of this is to stop the shading.
Right.
The sun will never shade from your side onto the panels.
Yeah, so right now, there's three faces on this on the property that
Encounter the sun
hurt the shading.
I
And if you
did
look
see
at,
that. But for the 30-foot buffer, for the entire, it says entire, which includes ours.
yes,
That's
We've
correct.
got 50 feet of, let's say, woods.
right,
Then there's 20 feet of what they planted.
Okay.
That's 70 feet.
okay.
So if they say they want 30 feet for the entire,
No, 30 feet is the minimum requirement. They've gone above and beyond, and they can't change it
they
without
can't
coming back
change
to
that.
us.
So
No,
they can't go back and
not
it's
without,
got to stay.
not without approval.
All right.
It's not, they can't just change configuration. so if you look here, this is a really good picture. So if you look here, another way that things laid out, right? So this is north, your house is right there.
Yeah.
And so the only offending sides, so to speak, are, this is the shading from the east, shading from the south, and shading from the west. Because as, you know, as the sun starts off here in the summer, and as it goes down, it causes additional shade here in the fall.
Okay, I did see that, but what about up here? They show nothing on the map of those trees.
Yeah, there's nothing there to remove. Where's the removal plot?
We should have knew that 5 years ago.
There's no tree taking on the north side whatsoever.
So this is, yeah, here you go.
She knows her blueprint.
Right here. Yeah, so these are here. So there's nothing, so the removals are happening down here, some here.
Here's the entrance,
Yeah,
and these are the removals right along here.
right.
Along here.
But they're showing, that picture is showing up here.
You're saying the shading on the map?
Shading?
The shading on the map is showing up here.
Right, except that there's no panels there, so you don't have to do anything.
Only if there's got panels.
Well,
Yeah, this is just a shading map, but the panels don't, and the shading is a blob of shade here, but there's no panels there, so you don't do anything. So it's only starting, see this? Right there in the corner of the panel?
yeah,
So that's the first guy,
yeah,
and it's down.
okay, because I see, all right.
Yeah, so I mean, this is just showing all of the
Okay,
shade.
yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, yep.
Okay.
See it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Um, I still have to say, I'm a tree hugger, I'm a tree lover. This should have been seen before they were ever allowed to do this. This should have been taken into account. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. You can't tell me that they didn't know this. They do this, they do phases of destruction, and I just have to say, I don't think it should be done.
And I'm gonna respond to that, only to say that seeing what I saw in the current condition of the trees, I think this is gonna be an improvement. And I'm hoping that you'll see that when it finally happens.
Well, when you hear the owls in the morning that are sitting in those trees.
The
You
gate
know.
is nice.
Okay,
The gate is nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Jason was very professional, conscientious, and
okay, I appreciate that, thank you.
one that,
Don't
Looks-
say
it
that
looks
too loud,
fantastic.
because his head is gonna start growing, we need to let him out.
Okay,
Well, if only I could say that if that 30-foot buffer, if you don't allow that, if you, it's as it is.
I don't know what you mean by that, I really don't.
They asked you for in the thing. In the,
The bylaw says you need 30 feet of vegetative buffer.
the applicant is proposing 30-foot buffer around the entire facility. That's what it says, except for the access road area.
30-foot buffer is from the bylaw.
Right. But we have negotiated for more.
And,
But you're saying they can't touch it.
correct.
They can't touch whatever anyone else negotiated for.
Well, if it's in the decision, then that's the approved plans, and that's what goes forward.
Okay.
Yeah, and, okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Any other public input before we go to stormwater?
Yes, all that or is,
Somebody's there?
No, Jonathan's iPhone.
Yeah, with grasshopper, yeah.
No, Jonathan's with Grasshopper, okay. All right,
Can I have Jonathan's last name, please?
Persaud, P-E-R-S-A-U-D,
Thank you.
Persaud.
Thank you.
Mrs. Goulart?
Nancy Goulart, Stormwater Committee. I don't have any comments on the trees. I was glad to hear that when the equipment comes in, the stormwater controls will be protected. And I assume if there's any damage or anything to them, that will be part of when the equipment leaves, will be restored, so we don't have to be concerned about that. The only concern I do have, and I wasn't gonna speak about this until I heard the description of ready to go with trees, cutting and replacing. When you act on this tonight, if the motion is to approve the request, I ask that you consider conditioning it with the understanding the trees cannot be cut until the basins are operational. If we can't get the basins operational, there's no sense in cutting the trees. So I just want that considered. And I will tell you, I've been dealing with Weston and Sampson. We have an engineer ready to go to work. They sent in a proposal, which I forwarded to Mr. Hafez, and he's all set with it. He's going to have his own excavator there, which saves him a little bit of money. The only thing Mr. Hafez expressed a concern about was the timetable, because the timetable that has been submitted in the Weston and Sampson proposal will take us about a month or into November. So I sent an email to Weston and Sampson to find out if there's any way to consolidate, compress, whatever with the schedule, and so we can get all the work done in less time. I don't know if they can assign other engineers to help with this. They do not have the information from the Stormwater Committee, which would be all of the engineering that was done by Mr. Pilling and all of his reviews. It's all available, but somebody's got to come look at it. This stuff is not online. So I told Mr. Hafez that when I hear back from Weston and Sampson about the timeline, I'll let him know. And I did speak to Mike Mullen today about this. And if we can get it done quicker without leaving anything out, then we'll try to get it done. But we cannot have Weston and Sampson skip over all the work that's already been done, because they know the history from various boards and commissions, but they don't have the rest of it. And the stormwater issue is the one that's been the major issue. So again, I just ask if you are going to approve the tree cutting, that it be conditional on getting the basins working first. Because if we don't get them working, there's no sense cutting trees. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Yeah, please.
If the basins aren't working, the Grasshopper's already been told that they don't go live. They don't get anything.
No, we'll work.
There's nothing beneficial to stopping if it gets approved.
All right, yep. And I've got to say something in response. I mean, I understand your concern. My concern is if we delay this any further, we're going to fall out of growing season, planting season, and we're going to plant a bunch of trees that are going to die. And we're not holding anything over anybody's head. They're not going to get the authorization to plug in if they don't get those basins working. So I don't want to delay them anymore. I mean, you said you got the PO in. When do you think you'll get that in? When?
Right here. As soon as everything goes, we can start with their side first, get that done, get the berm trees done, because those won't be affected.
Yeah.
We will get approval to be up on top of that berm if we're planting on the berm.
So in a matter of weeks.
How about those other trees that were denied by conservation? Was that issue resolved or not?
I mean, that's,
It's denied.
Tomorrow night. So far, those 25 or 20 some odd trees are not being cut.
Correct.
those are completely not even be thought of. There's a line drawn,
Yeah, that's
do not touch, do not go past that line.
separate issue.
About the berms, if they're gonna be working on the berms, aren't the berms around the stormwater basins?
Yeah, we're gonna be planting the trees on the berms.
Well, we're gonna be excavating the basins.
The berm is off the area that's gonna be excavated.
This is south of the other, you're talking about the thing on the entrance, right? They're gonna be
It's the
south,
path-
they're gonna be
the
south
path
of
we
here.
I'm
access-
talking about the berm around the smallest basin on the east side,
Okay.
which abuts that property owner. By the way, that property owner did come to a couple of stormwater meetings, didn't express any concerns, and he came, physically appeared at one of the site visits. He did not come on the property, but he was outside.
So they should be planting prior to any work being done here on the basin, because otherwise they're gonna drive right through it.
We're not gonna be up on top of the we're not gonna be up on top of the berm.
I'm talking
All the
about
work's
the
done.
basin itself.
All the work's done inside the basin, work out the back corner, out.
There's a lot of handwork that's gonna be done on this, from what you actually have said. And, I honestly feel that the basin has no bearing on what is happening here. That's my opinion.
Okay.
It is a very important thing that.
I
we
have to
are
express
saying.
the concerns of the stormwater committee, and I have. So
No, and honestly, I respect what you're saying, and I think that's a very, very, important thing to bring up. But we actually expressed our issues that we see on that. And he said that there's 11 feet of sand there. I said that 11 feet of sand is not working. So something else has to be done to that in order to make that basin work. Maybe take that sand all out and dig deeper into whatever, and then put the sand back on. But it doesn't matter, they will never get this thing approved unless that thing is working the way it should be working.
both of them.
Yeah,
Both
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, it's not gonna change. Mrs. Bressley?
The Conservation Commission,
Yep.
did you just say that that has nothing to do with this? Because they denied this.
They denied their trees. So there's two groups of trees. There are the general area trees, I want to call them, and then there are trees that fall within the purview or the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission, which is within 100 feet wetland. So there's like 20-something trees that had to specifically get approved by the Conservation Commission. They denied that. So those were specially marked. You can't see that on the black and white here, but on the color plans, you can see which ones were conservation, which ones were everybody else. There's nothing in addition to what you see here, so actually less of these will be cut.
But they don't have to approve all trees being cut?
They do not.
Just the ones in the,
Just the ones that fall within their jurisdiction, which is so this circle
Like
here,
25 trees or so.
25 trees or so.
It's 27.
Conservation has the direct right to just say no,
Yeah.
so they said no.
So they're scheduled to reappear tomorrow.
Okay,
They're having another hearing, they
Okay.
reapplied.
got it.
And just so you know, that depending on how you approve this with a condition or not, typically what you would do is you would do a conditional approval of any of the trees that are contained within the Concom's jurisdiction.
Got it.
Otherwise, they'll have to come back.
Got it.
Because
Okay.
if you don't put that condition in there, then they'll have to come back with the additional 27 trees.
Okay.
Should Concom approve.
You should.
Should Concom approve, yeah.
Right, so you can put a condition in there that you can approve it with the condition that they get approval from the Conservation Commission.
Got it.
Through the chair. Yeah, with conditional approval for the trees that fall under the Conservation Commission's jurisdiction.
Yes,
Correct.
oh, yeah, exactly. Okay.
Carrie, that meeting's tomorrow? Because I talked to Lisa and I thought she said it's next week.
I can look it up right now.
It's on the 25th because
Oh,
we applied to be on the agenda tomorrow, but then Lisa told us we missed the submission deadline and we have to be on the 25th.
25th is next Wednesday. Okay,
Next Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday.
Did they do, okay, Wednesday.
If it's 25th is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
if I may ask, what is your intentions on that basin there? Do you have any idea of what you intend to do there?
I don't think we should be discussing that,
Why?
because that's not on our agenda.
Just,
I know,
We're gonna talk about the trees only.
it's still a condition.
Uh-huh.
No? Yes, no?
I'm sorry.
it's not a condition.
It's not a condition that pertains to us.
Well,
It
we don't have any conditions. We haven't voted.
It could be if we made it a condition.
I'm concerned about that one. you know.
Well, that's a stormwater issue.
It's already been.
It has nothing to do with the planning board, Joe.
Okay. Then we leave it alone.
On which part was that?
He was asking about the basins.
The basic,
Oh, okay.
so.
Any other further public input? Nothing, sir? Nobody else on the phone? Okay, so, hearing on, I think we're ready to... Do we vote to close and then vote? How's this work?
You don't close until everything is all done.
You don't close until everything is all done. Got it. So, gentlemen, anything further? Any other discussions, concerns? Hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the major modification for the special permit application, site plan review for Grasshopper Energy Corporation, 0 Brook Street, map 16, lot 8, with the condition that, condition on the approval based on any additional trees approved by the Conservation Commission. Hope I got the words right there.
So you want, I start over, so with the condition that
We additionally,
trees within
the Conservation Commission jurisdiction.
Conservation Commission's jurisdiction. Condition that, now I lost my train of thought.
Be approved
My-
by
Be
Concom.
What
approved.
they approve.
My question on that, so if we approve this and conservation does not,
Then they can't remove those trees,
The 25.
those 27.
those,
yeah.
okay.
Just those 27.
Okay.
But if we approve this with this condition, and they say, okay, we'll give you these 15, they're good to go, and because we have this condition, they don't have to come back and see us
Okay,
to vote again, because otherwise they would.
it's complicated.
Yep. Somebody'd like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, motion made and seconded, and any further discussion before we take it to a vote? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Nay.
It's 3 ayes and a nay. All right, thank you, congratulations. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of meeting minutes for October 4th, 2023. Thank you, Jake, appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
I'll
Ahmed.
make that motion.
Second?
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Kathy, this is Easter day. Any further correspondence? No further correspondence? Any additional public input? Nada? Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.